everybody, welcome back to another video. This one is going to be about a topic that I've had in my head for a couple of days, and I've learned it is best to follow that still little whisper of a voice in my spirit when it comes to knowing what to do. So this is my attempt at doing that. I tried recording one other version of this, but nothing was flowing, so I'm gonna hope this is the opposite and that everything flows. But so this video is for the people who are going through rocky transitions, and I actually watched a YouTube video a few days ago talking about how when it's like this experience of setting foot into the new life, the new world, the new circumstance, the new change, and still feeling like a sense of unease, and that really resonated with me, and it sparked me to want to actually host an event, a workshop online to hold space for that process. So stay tuned for those details. I am going to be probably making a YouTube post with that information in like a day or later today maybe, but I do intend on hosting that, and it's going to be my first time in a while that I've hosted something, so I'm glad I'm able to do that now, and I hope it can serve people where it's needed. So anyway, this experience of, it's like you dream and you dream and you dream, and you're going towards your dream, your new reality, and then you set foot in it. You make the move. You get in the car and you drive. You get the home. You get the pet. You get the relationship. You, whatever change it is for you that you have dreamt of, you find yourself there. But for some reason, there is a part of you that feels unsettled still. And basically what I feel like that could be is just like a big ball of emotion, a big ball of energy that's releasing, it's shedding, it's leaving. And so, my mind is kind of scrambled, so bear with me here, but I watched this YouTube video with this girl talking about, feeling unsettled after transitions, and, she was kind of talking about the same thing, and it really resonated with me, so it inspired me to, create this workshop and talk about this to hopefully give people maybe a little bit of peace of mind, or massage that experience a little bit, to kind of go deeper into it and find the meaning there, and the depth there, and the truth underneath the discomfort, because I am all about that. That is something that I enjoy doing. But yeah, I think it can be so uncomfortable to leave everything familiar, even if what's familiar is toxic or harmful. It's still tough. There's like the release of, there's the physical change and the way that the nervous system has to recalibrate to a new lifestyle, a new condition, a new way of being. And that takes energy. It takes literal physical energy for the nervous system to adapt to even being in a new environment. And like, whether it's, felt very obviously or not, it still takes energy. And when there's not enough energy to support processing, functioning, across all areas of life, it can impact the emotions and create sadness or heaviness or even depression. I mean, that's just one example of why it can be challenging to go through a transition, even though and even if it's something that you really want. It takes energy for the nervous system. Very simply put. Another thing is you know, I'm sure most people watching this video are familiar with this concept, but when we choose something new in life, we often have to let go of the conditions or circumstances in our life currently that block the entry point for the new thing to come in. For example, how are you gonna, for example, meet, you know, your dream friend or your dream partner if you're holding on to someone who is, this might be a little harsh, but not good enough for you, not good for you. It doesn't mean anything about them as a person, but it means that it doesn't fit you. They might have, whether it's a person or an environment or a job or whatever it is, if there's something about it that drains you or takes away from you in some way, but maybe it gives you something, but it takes more than it gives, it's not reciprocal. It's not a fit. It's like trying to force a puzzle piece with another puzzle piece that almost fits, but like one of the nodes is like a little too big or a little misshapen or doesn't fill out the other one perfectly. I personally believe that, you know, there are relationships out there that do fit perfectly, like they are reciprocal, they are whatever, and you know, I almost feel self-conscious saying that because I grew up in an environment under circumstances where I learned everything that a relationship should not be. So because that was coded into my subconscious, those were the kinds of relationships that I would, you know, choose and accept and everything. And I'm not saying that all of my relationships in the past have been terrible or abusive or whatever. But at the same time, there have always been parts of me that, well, not always. There are times where they've been fulfilled, but there are parts of me that long for a specific kind of connection and specific kind of reciprocity. There are aspects of me that I want to share with people, and I can't share those parts with everybody. But there are some things that are important to me to be able to share, for example, in a close friendship or in a romantic partnership. And some of those things just haven't been met, you know? And I've known those things through contrast and through directly having them, but it's like I have a vision or a recipe of the qualities that are important to me, whether it's in a relationship or in a lifestyle or whatever. And so there's the reality that in order to move into that, I need to let go of what's not that. I need to take a leap of faith and go find that thing. And in that gap, in that liminal space, there is a lot of discomfort. Oh my God. So to be, you know, real with you, I am on a road trip right now heading towards a lot of personal dreams and like literal dreams. And it's been terrifying at points. There was a night where I felt I was just kind of in like a low grade, like panic state. And it took everything in me just to, you know, be present, because doing a new thing and taking a leap of faith is scary. It's so scary because, you know, the reality is we have a choice between faith and fear. They both ask us to believe in something that we can't see or sense all the time. Fear and faith. So I choose faith. And part of what that looks like is having my actions aligned with my faith, whether my emotions agree or not. So whether I feel brave or not, I'm gonna get in my car and drive to a new place. Whether I feel brave or not, I'm gonna go host a workshop and put myself out in this way. You know, that's faith. That's faith. And it takes practice to muster up the strength to be able to continue walking forward. It's like exercising. You know, if you want to be able to lift heavier and heavier weights, you need to strengthen your muscles. You can't go from 0 to 100 in a day. You know, growing faith is like growing a muscle. You got to start where you're at and just grow from there. And in that process, there's vulnerability, as there's pain, there's discomfort, there's insecurity, there's doubt. Every single demon, every single thread of your biological, neurochemical selves will wake up and fire and try to pull your flesh back to the familiar world it came from, because at least you know what to expect. But now, stepping into the new, stepping into your transition, you don't know what to expect. You are going off of pure faith and vision. And it's scary because it's not like someone laid out a path in front of you and told you you're guaranteed this thing because I'm doing it for you, I'm building it for you, I laid this path out before you, and I'm going to hold your hand while you walk down it. That's not how life goes, not for everybody. Some people follow more conventional paths, more traditional, tried and true paths, and don't live in, you know, with that uncertain mystery liminal space as much as other people, you know. And so basically that's what I have to say. You know, transitions are tough. They are really, really tough, and I think I underestimated how uncomfortable I would be when I went into this. But I know for a fact, even when I forget what it feels like, I know for a fact that what I am literally moving towards is going to be some of the best experiences and connections and environments that I've ever been in my life. Not to diminish everything else that came before it, because, you know, I have those friends and places and things and, you know, those past lives to partially thank for who I am and what I know and what I carry in my heart, if that makes sense. I really don't want to diminish anything else. But the fact is that I'm growing and I want more. I'm hungry, you know what I mean? And life was just not dishing it out to me. I went through one of the hardest times of my life earlier this year, from January through really now. I was dealing with serious health issues, and now I'm at least stable, and I experienced family and friend betrayal, and, you know, I really refined my understanding of what reciprocity in a relationship looks like for me, having come from where I came from. And, you know, I went through this period where I was like literally physically disabled, and I had people watching what I was going through on social media, people that I thought I was close to who didn't say a word to me at times, and that really stung and kind of woke me up in a hard way to help me begin this process of refining what a close relationship looks like to me, what I deserve, what I want, what I'm capable of giving, and what I want to receive in return, you know? Because life is unpredictable, and I want to feel safe. I want to feel like the people that I let in, I can trust, you know, to hold me while I'm going through the hard things. And there were so many moments where I didn't have that. And, you know, to be honest, I don't know if that is even realistic. I know that there are going to be times in my life where it's just between me and God, but I do believe that I will find, you know, everything I want. And I kind of feel uncomfortable saying that out loud because I feel vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still in this transition, and I'm currently navigating lots of, you know, doubts and, like, you know, the inner demons, the energies that want me to turn back and not believe, and I just hear those voices in my head, but I'm not letting them win. I am spitting them out and rebuking them and acknowledging them, witnessing them, and still choosing faith no matter what. You know, and I always say this, like, I believe that as long as we have a longing in our hearts, it is not, God did not put that in us in vain. We were designed to want what we want, you know? And no desire is too big for a God who lives to please his creation, to fulfill his creation. That's what I believe. Even though my mind and my heart doubts that, I choose to act in integrity with that and push further and further. I choose to ask for the level of income that I want to make by myself. I choose to ask for the security, the stability of one day a home, or even just a place to stay for the night. And realistically, I know that I'm, you know, gonna be provided for, but I do come in confrontation with insecurity on a daily basis, because this is just so unknown. But it's like, my faith is stronger, and it's being exercised a lot. It's like everything I've built up to this point is being put into action. So I kind of feel like an analogy for what I'm experiencing is, you know, like how a musician trains for a performance, or a dancer trains for a Broadway show, and they do it and they perfect their technique. They do everything amazing, you know, they have the support, and then they're the ones who have to bear the weight of their own body and walk out on that stage and sing the song or perform the number. And at that point, they are literally going against every single ounce of fear and doubt in their body to do the thing. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's why transitions are so tough. It's not necessarily like a one and done thing, and for 3 minutes you feel the fear. Like, I flew on a trapeze like twice in my life, swung. Well, I guess, you know, some people call it flying, but I swung, and I basically dropped, like, I want to say like 15 or 20 feet for like 4 seconds straight, and I hate the feeling of falling, but I wanted to try it. And I enjoyed parts of it, but I like, when I was climbing up that shaky ladder on that platform, I was like, literally just, everything in my body was just like, it didn't want to do this. But my mind felt safe because I trusted the people, I trusted the rigging, and I had a lot of support, and so I did it. I did it twice, but it's not for me because I'm not a fan of the feeling of falling. And no matter how many times I do it, I can't get over it. I mean, maybe I could one day, but I'm not in love with trapeze, and that's okay. You know what I mean? So yeah, basically that's that. It's rocky transitions. So you know, if this resonates with you and you feel like you're currently navigating something that feels heavy and real, and you resonate with some of the things that I'm saying, then stay tuned for my workshop I'm going to be releasing probably later tonight or tomorrow. I have a drive ahead of me, and I'll be settling in at night someplace new. So if I have the time and energy, I'm going to post the event and likely make it like a week or so ahead. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, it's just going to be a space where we are guided through self-reflection and sharing. And I'm going to be taking my life experience and space holding experience and holding space for us to dive in empowerment and kind of like a boost through what we're going through. So if that calls to you, definitely stay tuned. But thank you so much for watching. Other than that offering, if you feel called to work with me in a different capacity, I do one-on-one mentorship. I don't have that listed in my description, but you can message me if you want to work with me personally, and I'd be happy to curate some tools or a plan to help, guide you in some area that we mutually agree to work through. So just have a conversation with me. But other than that, I do psychic intuitive tarot readings with or without cards, and the info for that is in the description. But yes, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.